Warhammer the Old World is a fantastical game of mighty figures and awesome miniatures, and I love every bit of it. But oh boy, how much did you say you're paying for them? Is it worth your money? Hey, let's find out. It's hammer time. Hey Old Worlders, Stefan here for Hammer Time. If you've been following along with the previous videos, we've already talked about what starting Warhammer actually feels like and whether this hobby fits into your life at all. So if you're still here, chances are you're past the curiosity stage and into the okay, let's be real phase. And that's usually where people ask me, is Warhammer worth the money you're paying for it? Now, if you clicked on this video expecting a breakdown of prices, comparisons to other games, or a verdict on whether the miniatures are worth it for what they cost, I mean, that's a fair expectation, but that isn't what this video is about, and I want to be clear about that right away. Because the real issue most people I talk to struggle with isn't that they don't know how much Warhammer costs, it's that they don't know whether spending that kind of money actually makes sense to them. Whether the return they'll get in enjoyment, time spent, and long-term satisfaction justifies what they're about to invest. So this isn't a shopping guide. I'm not going to rank products, compare plastic quality, or tell you how to optimize your spending. Instead, I want to help you understand what you're really trading your money for and whether that trade-off aligns with what you value. Let's get into it. First, let's ground this properly. Yes, Warhammer is expensive. It's not slightly pricey, and it's not premium board game expensive. For most people, getting meaningfully into Warhammer isn't a small purchase. And over time, it's very common for this hobby to reach into the hundreds, and for long-term players, even into the thousands. Usually spread over many years, though. That alone doesn't make it bad, but it does mean that this isn't an impulse buy, or at least it shouldn't be. If the idea of spending that kind of money already feels stressful and uncomfortable, this hobby is going to feel heavy long before it ever feels fun. And that's something worth being honest about upfront. Cost by itself doesn't answer the question though. I mean, plenty of things are expensive and still not worth it, and plenty of cheap things aren't. So the real question becomes, what are you getting in return? I think one of the biggest misunderstandings about Warhammer is treating it like a normal one-off product purchase. And if you're buying one thing, evaluating it, and then moving on, that's not really how this hobby works. You're paying for time spent building something with your hands, time spent learning, and time spent improving. You're paying for a hobby that unfolds slowly rather than being consumed all at once. A Warhammer army doesn't stop being relevant once you open the box. It stays with you and you come back to it again and again, sometimes over years. For people who enjoy that kind of long-term relationship with a hobby, that changes how the cost feels. If you prefer a one-and-done experience, a Warhammer can feel overpriced very quickly. But if you value hobbies that grow with you and reward repeated attention, the value equation starts to look very differently. This is the point where the decision actually gets made. Before you decide whether Warhammer is worth the money, there's one distinction you need to make very clearly. Because if you get this wrong, the cost will never feel right. And that's what we're going to talk about next. And by the way, if this video is helpful, giving it a like tells me that I need to make more content like this. And subscribing just means you'll get more of the kind of videos you want to see when I put them up on my channel. Hey, and if you like my Old World beginner guides and you want more, subscribe to my free weekly newsletter. The link is in this videos and my channel description. There's one more honest thing I need to say out loud. Even among tabletop war games, Warhammer is expensive. There are other systems out there that cost less to get into, ask less long-term investment, and are easier on your budget overall. So if you're looking at this hobby and thinking, okay, but why is this one so pricey compared to others? That's a completely fair question. In real talk, the answer isn't that Warhammer is the most efficient option. It just isn't. But people like me choose Warhammer because it offers a very specific kind of experience. A deep, long established world with in-depth lore, miniatures with a strong and recognizable identity, and a hobby where building, painting, reading, and playing all feed into the same shared fantasy. There's also a sense that what you're investing in belongs to something larger than just a single game night, something that you can return to over many years. That doesn't make it better than all the war games, but it does make it different. And it does, for some people, make the difference in giving that higher cost a purpose. And this is where the money question becomes clearer. Spending on Warhammer isn't just about what you're buying. It's about what you're choosing instead. You're choosing depth over convenience, longevity over immediacy, and active involvement over passive consumption. That trade-off isn't better or worse, it's just different. If you're looking for the most entertainment per buck as fast as possible, Warhammer will almost always lose in that comparison. But if you want something that fills time slowly, creatively, and repeatedly, the costs spread itself out in many ways that people don't expect at first. And whether that's worth it depends entirely on what you want from a hobby. So is Warhammer worth the money? Here's my honest answer. Warhammer is not worth the money if spending already creates stress and guilt. Because this hobby doesn't stay small. And if that commitment feels like pressure instead of enjoyment, the cost will weigh on you very quickly. And if you're looking for one-off entertainment that's fast, efficient, and easy to fit into a busy schedule, Warhammer will almost always feel like too much for what you're getting. But Warhammer can be worth the money if you value long-term hobbies, if you enjoy a creative process, and if you like the idea of building something over time and returning to it again and again. You're not just consuming something, you're learning a craft, you're building something tangible, something you can see slowly growing. You're immersing yourself in a rich living world where lore and stories can guide your decisions, or where you can completely go your own way. It's really up to you. The game itself, it challenges you in a good way, giving you something to grow into as you become a better player. And what really sets it apart is the community. Welcoming, supportive, and always willing to help each other share their passion for the hobby. And for me, that's what truly makes the old world special. It gave me my passion, dear friends, and memories that will last a lifetime. In that case, the cost starts to feel very different. Still not cheap, but justified by just how much space this hobby fills in your life and how long it stays with you. Now, even if money makes sense, there's still one thing that stops a lot of people from enjoying Warhammer: the rules. Not whether you can memorize them all, but whether you actually need to. And if you've ever felt overwhelmed, intimidated, or held back because you don't know every rule yet, that's exactly what I'm going to talk about next. How to enjoy Warhammer without knowing all the rules. I'll see you there.